Being a status member with the airlines just is not what it used to be. So today we're going to talk about one of the greatest benefits of having status with Delta, with American, with United, and how that great benefit just seems to be waning. It seems to be going away little by little. So if you would, hit the like and subscribe button, and let's examine it together. I love airline status. Some people in the Points and Miles community value hotel status, which I have some high hotel status with some hotel chains as well. But I really value airline status because I love to be upgraded from my economy seat to first class. Now, a lot of folks in the community will say, well, just buy the seat that you want. Well, that is a good idea. However, not all of us can do that because some of us fly a lot for work that we don't pay for. So I'm not just able to tell my work, or if I'm consulting and billing that out to somebody, I'm not able to just say, well, I decided to book a first class ticket. It's just not allowed. So since that's the case, it is really nice for the road warrior, for the person who's in the air a lot, to have enough status so that you can purchase the cheaper seats, but still get all the benefit of being upgraded to the front of the plane. And of course, in the front of the plane, you get better service, you get better food, you get better drinks, you get better everything up there. And of course, your seat is much more plush, more comfortable. And if you're a tall person like me, you get a lot of extra leg room. So that to me has always been the thing that I love, that I crave about status. Now, for years, I was status with United. I was gold status, which is kind of their mid-tier status. It's above silver, it's below platinum and 1K. And then I moved up for about a 2-year span to platinum, which is their second to highest tier, right below their 1K tier. And in those days, as I look back and reflect, and that was before I really tracked it. Now I track every single upgrade that I get and the ones that I don't, which I just don't get as many anymore. But I didn't write it down, but I think that if I'm remembering correctly, it seems like I was upgraded 40 to 50% of the time as a gold, and maybe a little more than 50% of the time as a platinum. Now, let me be clear. I do not live in a hub. I am not in a hub airport for any airline. My airport has all three of the major airlines, American, Delta, and United, that fly out of there, but it's not a hub for any one of them. And they all have about the same amount of flights and the same amount of traffic. So we're not talking about not getting upgrades on one or the other because of all the traffic of all the status flyers, because I'm flying out of Atlanta with Delta or out of DFW with American, or I'm flying out of Houston or Chicago with United. No, it's not that circumstance. So since I've been flying out of this airport and I've flown with all three of those airlines with status, I think I'm in a good place to judge. So as I said, before the pandemic, being a United Platinum and a United Gold, between 40 and 60% of the time, it felt like I got upgraded to first class. And even when I wasn't upgraded, I was almost always at the top of the upgrade list. So when I check on the app or check on the board there at the gate, it would show my name just one or two below the top. Fast forward to today. If you look back right after the pandemic, I think that my upgrades, because I'd switched by that time to American, and I'm still Platinum Pro with American. I've been Platinum Pro, I've been Platinum, which is kind of the same as the gold status on United, and I've been Executive Platinum, which is equal to United's 1K, their top level. But right now I'm second from the top level, Platinum Pro. And I've been that for probably 3 or 4 years, really since the pandemic. That's when I switched. And then for the last 2 years, I've been Delta Platinum, which is their second highest tier. Diamond's their highest, but it's the same as Platinum Pro and same as Platinum on United. And I've flown Delta not as many times as American, but quite a few times. And probably of the 15 times I've flown Delta in the last 2 years, I think I got upgraded once, maybe twice to first class. And on American, as of 3 years ago, it was still okay. I was getting upgrades maybe 30% of the time. But this year, and now it's the middle of August, and I have flown, I don't know, 16, 18 flights this year, and I've had 2 upgrades this year. 2. And I found that to be true last year. And it just seems to be getting worse. And so here's the thing. The reason that I love status is upgrades. And the reason I would put a lot of effort into chasing status is upgrades. But if I'm only getting 2 upgrades out of 16 flights, that's just over 10% of the time. That is not good at all. And you might ask, well, what's changed about it? Well, I think there's 3 things that have really changed since the pandemic. Number 1 is all of the systems have changed in that now it is easier with American, with Delta, and somewhat with United, although their system's a little different. It is a little bit easier to get status through credit card spending, and you don't really have to be a road warrior and flying all the time to get status anymore. So I think there are more people who have high spend, particularly through businesses, and they can spend lots and lots of money on the card and they have high status, even though they don't fly very much. So you could theoretically have a person with a business that spends lots and lots of money on their credit cards and another person that just flies every other week, so they fly all the time, but that person, because they buy economy tickets, because their work demands that they do that, they could theoretically be lower status than the person who only flies twice a year. And that person who flies twice a year is going to get the upgrade on the airline, not the road warrior. So I think that might be part of it. The second thing is I noticed an article a few years ago about pilots now have, because of their contract negotiation, and I'm not in any way disparaging that they deserve this or not, I'm just commenting that I think it's part of the reason, is that now when they're moving from airport to airport, they can fly in first class. And I have seen quite a few pilots in first class when I'm walking through to get back to the main cabin extra. So maybe that has something to do with it. But I think the biggest reason why upgrades seem to have dried up is because the airlines are now selling first class as an upgrade very, very inexpensively. I mean, I have seen upgrades. Just the other day I was on a flight and it was about a 2.5 hour flight, and it said, do you want to upgrade? $49. $49 to upgrade to first class. Well, I didn't do that. I probably should have, but I didn't. But I think a lot of people do. So it turns out that now there are hardly ever, any seats available on the seat map in first class. And I think it's because the airlines have found a way to sell it, because they're just simply dropping the price. So the nice thing for me, at least on domestic flights, is that even though I can't buy first class, I could pay myself to upgrade to first class. So I might start doing that. I mean, what's $49, $59, $79, whatever. I see those numbers all the time on there. So that might be what I'm going to start doing. But the real decision I have to make is, do I really care about status anymore? Now, I will tell you this. I do like the at least platinum status. That's the level below me. Takes 75,000 loyalty points to get there on American. But I like that status because that status and above get to choose main cabin extra seats, a lot more leg room, and you get to choose that at booking. So you just get them for free. So I'm sure I'll keep that one. But as far as still chasing after my Platinum Pro, I'm just not thinking it's worth it to get just a little bit better than 10% of the time getting upgraded and just constantly being 13, 14, 15 on the upgrade list. Well, all right, for those of you who have status, what's your upgrade percentages you've been getting lately? Do you have the same experiences, or maybe it's just the airport I'm flying out of? I don't know, but this is what I've seen on all 3 of those major U.S. airlines. If you would hit the like and subscribe button below, let me know what you think down in the comments, and hopefully I'll see you here next time.